Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to kind of a heartfelt live stream. Uh, Before we get too terribly far in, I'm going to kind of wait for everyone to make their way in, and we'll begin talking about it and everything. We'll talk about today's topic. But in the meantime, we're just going to kind of wait. Hey, what's going on, Chairman? Welcome to the live stream. We're just going to kind of wait for everyone to kind of make their way in and that sort of thing. You know. Mm. Hi, Danny. What's happening, Raven? Good to see everybody making their way in. Goodness gracious, I better get everything all set up.
Won't let me comment at all.
Really? Not yet.
Nope.
Weird. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you're supposed to be here, though.
Still won't let me comment. It says I'm a standard moderator.
Weird. Playing Fortnite. Yeah, I do.
Yes,
Yeah, I do.
You do.
Sorry, brother. It's been crazy busy over here with the passing of a grandparent. I'm doing good. Doing good. Good to see everybody.
Hi, bestie.
Okay. Right behind me is my other half. You all know her as Country Girl, but the name's about to change a little bit. And she wanted to be here part of this live stream. So figured, since everybody's making their way in, number one, don't forget to hit the like button. And number two, kind of a heads up. If you're, I'll leave them for where, yeah. Well, my last living grandparent just passed away. My last living grandparent just passed away. Um,
Hi, Raven.
Good to see you, Raven.
It won't let me comment, so I'm just saying hi to everybody.
That's fine.
Is it because I'm
I'm thinking, I don't know. Yeah, my last living grandparent.
Country mama.
No, I'll have to go in and tinker with the moderation stuff.
Okay.
Alrighty, so let's get underway here. Saturday we buried my last living grandparent. Gone, you know. Oh wow. So you got a gal from Montana. Well, before you guys, I understand it's normal, sorry for the loss and everything, but I want y'all to take this in for a moment. Yeah, it stings like hell. I'm not gonna lie. That's awesome, man. Uh, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it stings. Yeah, it kind of hurts a little bit. The grandpa's gone, but let me kind of break it down for you. Grandpa lived to almost 90 years old. He was a few months away from turning 90, okay? In that time, he raised 6 kids, and all but one went out and started a family of their own. So then we're talking grandkids. Then from the grandkids, all of us went out. Yeah, I know you did. From those grandkids, we all went out and started our own families. Yeah, he did. Oh, he watched all of his grandkids grow up and go out and start their own families. Now those great grandkids, some of them are starting their own families now. One of my cousins, he's a grandpa now. So my grandpa, yeah, I got a big family. So my grandpa got to watch all of his grandkids grow up, start their own families, and he was around just long enough to see great great grandchildren. Okay, he was around long enough to just begin seeing great great grandchildren. I think that if Grandpa was here right now, he'd say, "I seen everything I needed to see at this point. I seen everything." So, kind of take that in a second. I mean, so really, what we're kind of doing here is not so much mourning the loss; we're remembering what they left behind. Okay, so kind of take that in for a second. You know, this is more. Yes, yeah, it stings. Yeah, I already miss them, but at the same time, it's kind of that. Yeah, they're gone, but they're not gone, if you will. Okay, because of the stories we have. Um, going back to my first grandpa that I lost all the way back in on September 11th, 2000, 1 year before the World Trade Center. Um, that grandpa served in the Second World War, and he got to see some cool stuff. As a matter of fact, I remember actually him telling me one particular story where he had actually taken some guys that were in this concentration camp from back to France. He brought them to this village where he was supposed to drop them off. He gets out of the truck, and when he gets out of the truck, um, he pulls out a pack of in his rations. He had a pack of he had a full pack of Camel non-filters. Yeah, good Camel non-filters back then. Those I've had that type of Camel non-filter before, and back then, I mean, they were strong, like cigar strong. Oh wow, you get it, you get it. So when he pulled those out, he lit up a cigarette, and then one of the French guys kind of motioned that he would like a cigarette. So my grandpa just hands the pack up to the guy, to one of the guys in the back of the truck. And then they started handing out cigarettes and smoking. He didn't think anything of it. He was just being nice. Well, a little bit later in the day, there's this young French lady that comes up to Grandpa and kind of, would you come with me, sort of thing. He didn't speak French, but he followed the young lady, and he goes to this house and goes inside, didn't think anything of it. And there's this big table, and one of the guy at the head of the table. Yep, yeah, I knew that. He I knew it. Yeah, so yeah, I remember that. I remember that well. He sits down. He goes to sit down. At the table, and like I said, there was the guy at the head of the table was one of the guys he had brought back to that village in France, and the guy starts points at him and said, and he basically enjoyed a really nice home cooked meal right there in one of the homes of one of the guys he brought back to the village. That's actually a story that my grandpa, who passed away in 2000, actually told me, left over from the war.
I remember you telling me that.
Hmm. And he told me he got to travel kind of after, because he was there for a while after the war was over in Europe. It's still going on in the Pacific, and he was very worried they were going to send him to the Pacific. He didn't want to go. He really wanted to come home because he'd already seen as much as he wanted to see. He'd actually told us there were several times on the trucks that he took back from the front lines. He was taking back troops that weren't they weren't coming home to their families. They were going to the cemetery, sort of thing. And he told me that numerous times how he had done that. Uh, so those trucks were never really empty. He was taking supplies up to where the front lines were, or he was taking, I guess you could say, taking the wounded or the unalived home, if you will. Um, so he did that. My grandma Pole, who was 97 when she passed. Uh, she was the cool mom, yet the cool grandma at the same time. I'll tell you, she actually imparted a story when my dad was a teenager. They over in Manchester, Missouri. Uh, hey, what's going on, Zero?
Hey, hi Zero.
Uh, Grandma was telling me she pulls up to the stoplight and looks over at the vehicle next to her. It's my dad. Okay, she rolls down the window and yells out, "I'll race you home." Dad's like, "You're on, Mom." My grandma was driving a 1966 Pontiac Tempest. Okay, my dad was driving a '66 Mustang GT Coupe. The light turns green, the tires light, they take off racing. They get up by the Manchester police department. Grandma gets nervous and backs off. Dad just keeps going. Gets home, and my grandma gets out of the car. Dad looks at her and says, "What took you so long, Mom?" And she's like, "We were right by the police station." He's like, "So?" She said, "How would that have looked if your mother would have been pulled over by the police for racing her son home?"
That would have been an interesting story. The police officers would have loved it.
They would have died laughing. That was my grandma that passed away at 97. She told stories like that. Matter of fact, when I was still in, I was just before I went into kindergarten. That same grandmother had broke her hip for the first time on two separate occasions. She broke the same hip on two separate occasions, and both times I sat with her